beautiful people, welcome back to my channel. So today's video talks about the creepiest revenge stories ever. Some of the stories are unbelievable, like people can go extra miles to pay back when they get hurt. And like they say, when a woman is on revenge, even the devil gets a pen to take notes from her. Okay, well, before we get started, I don't have to say that I strongly recommend you not to do any of the things that I'm about to show you. At the end of this video, I'm going to drop my thoughts, so stay with me. Without taking much of your time, let's get to these videos.
Story time, story time, story time. So this one is about revenge on a cheating husband. I found out my husband cheated on me in November. I have known this man since I was 5, been best friends since forever, and now married for 5 years. He decided he wanted a divorce. Then 2 months ago, he basically came crawling back and asked for our marriage back. I agreed and said okay. Little does he know I'm saving $500 on his dime every month to leave him eventually. Little does he know I'm losing weight and getting my body in the best shape of its life for my future person who will never take me for granted. I know that's right, girl. Little does he know I made a fake profile on Snapchat and added his father to it. I don't even like where it's going. And added his father to it. His father is now cheating on his mother with the fake profile, aka me, which I will be sending all the screenshots to his mother after I leave. Normally, I wouldn't bring anyone else into this, but his mother decided I was in the wrong for her son cheating on me. Won't it be ironic? Little does he know, she's crazy. She's a crazy one. Little does he know, I talked to my rental manager and signed a contract to leave that apartment, which is in my name, in December. Same week, he will be gone on a trip. Won't it be funny when he comes back to new locks, his wife missing, his stuff in the dumpster, and nowhere to live? Oh, and did I mention his dream car is in my name because I had better credit? But don't worry, I've already started the process of selling it, and it will be towed to California that same week he's on vacation. He's savage. A woman scorned. Oh boy. I will never let anybody play me for a fool again, and I certainly won't let someone cheat on me and leave me only to try to pick me as a second option later. Who said revenge isn't sweet? Well, she clearly knows how how she's gonna get her lick back. I wish you the best. That's all I got.
Story time of how I sent my boyfriend back to Mexico without him noticing. Well, to start, I realized he was cheating on me because we had gone on vacation together, and when we came back, I wanted to transfer some photos to my phone. You know, on iPhone, you swipe up and you see a bunch of open tabs. In the US, Snapchat is used a lot, so I saw a message, and I remember opening it to check the messages. On Snapchat, messages disappear, but I noticed that some of them were saved, and those don't delete. I even remember seeing photos. I thought, he's cheating, and I remember the name and checking his contacts. And yeah, he was bold, super bold. That's when I realized. So I went to the bathroom and cried. I was crying, I was furious. Honestly, I thought, this can't end like this. I need revenge. I needed revenge, to be honest. I was wondering, what can I do? I considered telling him what I saw, but I also thought if I confront him, he might leave. I thought I helped you come to the US, that is, and everything, and you would still come out winning.
Without
So I
taking
thought
much of
I'll
your
send him
time,
back to Mexico.
let's see these
If I
revenge
tell him to go
stories
back to
from
Mexico,
different
though, he's
people.
not stupid, and he would say no and just leave my apartment. I remember I thought I will return him to Mexico because he won't leave, he will never leave otherwise. Where we lived was 2 hours away from San Antonio, but also 2 hours away from Laredo. I knew the way to San Antonio and the route to Laredo too. I thought, I'll tell him we're going to San Antonio now. Since he was off the next day, I suggested we go to Six Flags, saying let's go now and stay overnight to make the most of it the next day, and then we can return the following day. So we packed up, made reservations, and I suggested we take a quick bathroom break before heading out, so we wouldn't have to stop on the road. On the way, I suggested we make a quick stop at the nearby strip mall to get some snacks there so we could avoid stopping along the way. Otherwise, he might realize we were actually headed to Laredo instead of San Antonio. I told him I'll drive the whole way, which was about only 2 hours away, so he should rest and I would wake him up at the hotel. When we passed the first checkpoint, I thought, is this right or wrong? But then I remembered those messages and my courage returned, which made me go through with it. I was so angry, but it fueled me and I was like, yes, I'm doing this. I brought him here and paid for it, then I will return him. At the Mexican border, they were inspecting a truck, and so officers were waving to go on another lane. By this point, he realized what was happening and started saying no, and asking me why am I doing this to him. I just told him, if you want to be a jerk, go be one, but then start fresh. And you come back yourself, or she can bring you to the US, but you won't use me. You want to be a jerk? Well, now I'll leave you here. We couldn't return anyway, as we were already in a queue, so we were stuck. When we passed it and got to the entry permits, there, I turned around and I told him to get out. I remember I sarcastically handed him a $50 bill and threw it at him saying, here, make do with this. He had his wallet, phone, and some cash, as we were supposed to go to Six Flags. Then I left. Driving back, I felt oddly proud, like I'd done something adult, something mature. To this day, I don't regret it. It was the best decision I made. I thought he could cheat, but he wouldn't use me. Even now, I don't feel guilty about it. It was my revenge.
It is said that when a woman takes revenge, even the devil sits down to take notes. Story time. So there's this couple, let's call the guy Njuguna and let's call the lady Anne. So Anne and Njuguna have been in a relationship for the last 3 years. And during these 3 years, Njuguna had stepped out a couple of times and lied about it. But then he came back, begged for forgiveness, said he's going to change. And Anne was like, I can fix him. Because when a woman loves, she loves for real. But what people don't really understand is when the love dies, that is when you meet the devil. So she had gotten to the point where she had decided she's going to leave the relationship. But before she left, she wanted to make sure she's going to teach Njuguna a lesson so that he does not do this to another woman. So this is what she did. Njuguna was working in corporate. He loved his job. It was one of those like dream jobs with amazing salary, amazing benefits. He loved it. But then, you know, as long as you're working with other people, you're going to have confrontations. You're not going to agree on everything. So occasionally he would talk smack about his colleagues. So one time he came back home from work. Anne had prepared dinner. They sat down, had a meal, watched a movie. While they were sitting down just cozying up, Anne brought up the conversation of work. Because he had mentioned before that he had issues. So she brought it up and asked if he had sorted the issues out. He said no. And Anne instigated him and started talking shit about his colleagues. So now Njuguna, because he was comfortable, because this is the woman of his dreams, she is putting up with his nonsense. He was comfortable, so he talked smack about his colleagues, his superior. He talked smack about his boss. Like he didn't care. He was just talking smack. What he didn't know is that Anne was recording the whole conversation. So after they finished cozying up, they went to bed, did the thing. Njuguna was sleeping, snoring. Anne got out of bed, went to the studio, sat on his work laptop, sent the recording to CC'd everyone, including the boss, CC'd every department, and sent it up.
After a year of dating, my ex moved in with me when he was let go from his job. My brother helped him get a new job, but it was only 30 hours a week and was barely minimum wage. It was meant to be a temporary gig while he looked for a better paying full-time job. My ex decided he'd rather keep this one because it freed up so much time to play video games, and I ended up getting a second job to keep food in the fridge and all the bills paid. After a few months, I came home around 1:30 a.m. from my second job to find him at home playing video games when he should have been at work. I also noticed that the bed sheets were wadded up on the floor of the bedroom. He immediately started with all the excuses that he came home sick, went to bed, woke up sweaty mess, and decided to change his sheets. But he was feeling better and that he had been planning to remake the bed in a few minutes. I go ahead and remake it myself, kiss him goodnight, and go to bed since I just worked 18 hours that day between both jobs. A couple days later, my neighbor stops me and asks if I'd called out of work on Saturday because she and her 20-year-old granddaughter had heard my ex and I banging when I normally would have been working. Nosy. I told her that I had indeed been working until about 1:30 a.m. and asked if she was sure they heard correctly and that wasn't just videos. She said that it definitely wasn't coming from a TV or computer, that they heard my ex in a female voice very clearly. The next day I confronted my ex and he denied everything, but I knew he was lying. I told him this wasn't working and had to move out. period. He only took as much that was fit in his car. He said he'd be back in a few weeks for the rest. Over the next few months, waiting for him to find the time to get his shit, I went through what my friends and I call a hoe phase and slept with about 10 different men. Since it was summer, my ex had left his absolute favorite zip-up hoodie that he'd wear almost every day during cold weather behind when he left. Every time I would sleep with a guy, I would wear that hoodie over a sexy bra and panty set like a cardigan and keep it on during the deed. I would find a way to have the men finish on the hoodie or use it to clean up with afterwards. When he finally told me that he was coming to get the rest of his shit, I put the hoodie on the bottom of the box with his stuff unwashed with the stuff of 10 different men as well as my own on it. Oh my god. Side note, the men I slept with did know that I was getting petty revenge.
I've been married for 3 years. My husband and I relocated to the United Kingdom a year after our wedding. We were once best friends before we got married. We relocated with student routes. He was the student and I was the dependent. I got pregnant last year and delivered my babies this year. During my pregnancy days, my home was hell for me. My husband completely changed. He would go to work and won't come back home sometimes. He felt disgusted towards me. Due to the delicacy of my pregnancy, I was advised to be bedridden for a while. My husband would make fun of me for not being able to do anything for myself. He would compare me to some women we know. My pregnancy made me dark and gave me all sorts of discoloration on my body. One fateful day, he was in the shower while his phone was plugged in the bedroom. A message popped up. Lo and behold, it was from his colleague at work. The message was nasty. How she couldn't get enough of him the last time. I broke down in tears. At this point, I couldn't contain my emotions. I confronted him and this man looked me dead in the eyes and told me he's a man. Men are generally polygamous in nature and he could choose to sleep with as many ladies as he wants to. And do I expect him to sleep with me in this my current state? He concluded by saying we will talk about sex once I'm no longer pregnant. I reported him to both our families and his family. They told me to endure and pray for him. My family supported. He refused my mom coming to care for me. I would cry all night with no one to comfort me in my delicate state. At this point, I knew I had just myself and my unborn child, and God, and I had to be strong for us. I made up my mind to revenge him. He even got himself a white woman for paper's sake. Meanwhile, I had a colleague of mine who knew what I was going through. She suggested she could help me out with her son to get my papers, but that would be after my childbirth. And both herself and her kids all have their green cards. The son was 27 as at that time. Fast forward to recent days, my body is fully back and I have resumed working. My manager, a white man, was showing interest in me. He's divorced and he knew I was unhappily married. I invited him over one weekend to see my baby and he was in so much love with my child, as if my child was his. We kissed and he assured me that he will always be there for me. He told me to let him know when I want him to be part of our lives completely. And sincerely, he has been very supportive ever since then. My husband noticed how happy and confident I am lately and wanted to go down with me, and I told him I wasn't interested. I had to move to the second room because I couldn't stand him. I didn't know how we got to find out about the white guy and was extremely furious and called our family to warn me, else I would forever regret it. The highest he could do was to take me back home. I recently got the memo that their company license got revoked. Hence, the Oyibo woman and my company just offered me sponsorship. And guess what? I didn't add him. Is God not great? To top it all, my new man can't wait to get married to me. Everyone is calling me names, including my parents. I dropped a bulk message for them to pray for me to change. My baby and I had to move to a better apartment recently with the help of my new man, without my husband knowing. He has been calling me because I know he had received the divorce paper. Everyone is against me now. I don't even care. Did I go too far?
I'm a diagnosed sociopath, and here's how I got revenge on a married man. So I went on a date with this guy about 5 to 6 years ago. Now, he was obsessed with me, which of course I love. He wanted a simple life, which is obviously not my thing. I dropped him and he got a little bit obsessive. So I hear from him recently. He was certainly acting like he was single, but I did my research and turns out that guy was married with a baby on the way. Now, my husband is very secure. He doesn't mind at all when I talk to these guys to destroy them. Let's just say I made some false promises when I lured him out to Sydney. I recorded all of these conversations that he had with me, and I may or may not have showed his wife. I assume things aren't good because they're not on each other's profiles anymore. I went to meet him. I told him he'd aged terribly, and then I just walked off.
Ever since my ex and I broke up in 2016, I've had a very interesting tactic for revenge. My revenge comes in the form of email newsletters. So if I'm in the airport and I need an email address to give to the airport so I can use their Wi-Fi, I give them his. If I want to read an article and they need an email, I'll send them his. Do I want to be updated about events and happenings in the company? Yes. Topics of interest? All of them. And he doesn't know why. Not a clue. And I will literally never stop doing it.
So guys, what do you think about these revenge stories? These people have shared their stories. Do you think they did too much? Do you think they went too far? Have you also done revenge on someone who hurt you in the past? How did you feel? What was your experience? Please share your thoughts in the comments. And then do you also feel that these people are just being petty? Let's continue this conversation in the comments. Drop your thoughts in the comment section and don't forget to like, share and subscribe. It's okay to have an opinion. It's okay to disagree with someone's opinion. But what is not okay is humiliating them because they do not think the same way you do, okay? Show some respect while dropping your comments. I know you're hurt, okay? But the best revenge is served cold. You can cry or mourn, but resist the urge to keep in touch. It's best to just stay silent and wait for your moment because your moment will surely come. You don't have to unleash your thoughts, those bad thoughts that are coming to your head, right? Those things that are telling you to get back at him. You really do not have to unleash those thoughts. I would suggest you just go no contact. You don't have to send him long paragraph text. You don't have to yell at him, call him, yell at him, telling him how mad you are, how angry you are for his actions. You don't need to call him or even call anybody close to him. Don't do that. You don't even need to sleep with his best friend or destroy his properties because you want to take a revenge. The best form of revenge is emotional control. What do I mean? You should rather cut off access. Let him not have access to control you emotionally. You don't need to give him access to control your reactions. Another best form of revenge is glowing up. Yes, you need to level up. You don't want him to meet you where he left you. You really do not want to be that person. You want to level up so much such that he won't even be able to approach you anymore. When he sees you, he's going to bow his head in shame. When he hears about you, he's going to bow his head in shame. So you need to level up. Don't spend your time trying to seek his revenge or whatever. Just stay silent and level up. Just block him on everything. Go silent. Avoid him completely. You don't need to stalk him. Just stay mysterious. Glow up. Let him be the person wondering what you are up to since he hasn't heard from you. Most likely he's expecting a revenge from you, but you do not want to give him the actions. It's okay to cry in private and mourn over the loss. You can mourn over it for as long as you want, right? But make sure to be working on yourself while you mourn. Hit the gym, baby. Hit the gym. Look good. Work on your confidence. Dress well. Make yourself happy. Get acquainted with people who will make you feel better, such that when he hears about you or run into you somewhere or somehow, it's going to be blown up at your glow up results. I know it's tough. It's even possible that he has moved on and is probably doing well wherever he is. But do not allow all of that to get to you. Focus on your healing. No matter how the stories you hear about him, how he's got the prettiest girl now, how his life is getting, just do not focus on that. Focus on your own healing journey and stay still. Your own time will come, I promise you. Just keep working on yourself. Keep working on yourself. Keep leveling up silently. Trust me, you will love it when your time comes. Yes, you will love it. Stay consistent in your healing journey. Girl, work on yourself so much. Instead of causing harm, just be happy. You don't have to send him long paragraph text messages. You don't have to call him. Just stay silent. You don't have to waste your time trying to explain to him. Just stay silent. The best revenge is silence and emotional disconnection. For me, the best revenge when someone cheats on you is just to walk away. You don't have to put yourself on fire because of your emotions, right? Okay, guys, definitely let me know your thoughts in the comments. And if you want more stories, also let me know in the comments, okay? Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. I have wonderful people following me on this channel. They are really cool people. You do not want to miss any of these great conversations. So make sure you hit that subscribe button, like and share this video with somebody who you want to be part of these conversations. Thank you for watching, guys. I'll see you in my next video.